Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Miss Alexis. As I continue to upload videos, if you come onto my channel, if you like any of my content that I'm uploading, don't be afraid to subscribe to my channel and click that notification bell, and each time I upload a video you will be notified. So let's get right into this video. Today I am going to title this video, this is relationship talk. So the title of this video will be When He's Not Ready. When He's Not Ready. And what that means is, for us as women, when we encounter a man, when we start dating a man, when we start talking to a man, when we may even soon later get into a relationship with a man, like an exclusive or official relationship, and you realize that he's not ready. So when he's not ready. Also, what gave me this topic idea was, I was listening to The Breakfast Club, and with Angela Yee, Charlemagne, and DJ Envy, and they had they were interviewing Ray J and Bow Wow on yesterday, and I was actually listening to the show on the radio on my way to work. And what actually prompted me to do this was something that Bow Wow had said on the show, because Angela Yee had asked him something along the lines about relationships. But this is what he said. He says, "I do not believe that God placed so many beautiful women here on earth for me to just be with one woman." So what he was saying is, I just don't believe that I can be with one woman, because there's too many beautiful women here on the earth for that. So he says, I just don't believe that. So this is his opinion. This is what he believes. This is his perspective. So in other words, this is what's in his mindset. He believes that he's not a one woman man, and that's why I said when he's not ready, because he's not ready. So in other words, a man that feels like I need to have multiple women and I just cannot be with one woman is not a man that's ready to be in a faithful, committed, monogamous, relationship. He's not ready to settle down. He's not ready to get married and be a husband. You know what I'm saying? So when we encounter men like this, it's okay. I mean, he's just not ready, and he's just not ready, and he's not ready for what you are ready for, and he does not desire what you desire. If you're a woman that is dating with purpose, the purpose of getting married, then you're going to desire and you're going to want a man on the same level as you, right? So if you're desiring marriage, you're going to want to be with someone, to be dating with someone, and even be in an official relationship with someone that also wants to get married. Like, he's like, I'm ready to settle down as well. I'm ready to just be with that one woman. I'm ready to be faithful. I'm ready to be committed. I don't want to be out here being around, just being with a whole lot of women and all of that. Then you know that you and him, when it comes to that, is on the same page, But a man who says that he still wants to be with multiple women and possibly still sleep around with a lot of women, he still wants to juggle a lot of women and have women on his roster, he's not ready to settle down. So he's not ready for a woman who's like, I want to be with that one, and I know I'll be committed. I know that I'll be faithful, and I know that I can be trustworthy, and I know that I'm ready for marriage. If that's what you're ready for, then a man who's not ready for that and still wants to have a whole lot of women, he's just not the one, And a man who has that type of mindset, and that's anybody, if you have a certain mindset and if there's just something lodged in your mindset, it will have to take something in you that will have to click, something that will cause you to have a change of a mindset, to cause that mindset to shift in a new direction and to have a new perspective. But that is something that he is going to have to be that is something that he and somebody else is going to have to be willing to do. You know what? We have to be willing to change, and nothing and no one can change your opinion. Your opinion is what your opinion is. We just have to be able to recognize when he's just not ready for what you are ready for, and he just does not desire what you desire. So when he's not ready, what is the best thing for a woman to do? The best thing for us to do, ladies, is basically just leave the whole thing where it's at and just move on with our life. Is it possible for a man who says, hey, I'm just not ready to be with one woman, I still want to be with multiple women, to change? Yes, that's possible. It's possible for him to change. It's possible for something to just click in him that will cause him to just have a change of mind, a change of heart, and just want to grow up and just want to be mature. But is a woman supposed to wait on a man to do that? No, you don't put your life on hold. We don't put our lives on hold because we just don't know how much life we have here on earth. So time is the essence. You know, we're not sitting around waiting for a man to change. When the reality of it is, it's a possibility that he won't never change. So like 5-10 years down the line, he's still saying, oh, I'm still juggling multiple women, I still want to have a whole lot of women, I'm not ready to be with that one woman, because I just don't believe that with all of these beautiful women on this earth that I'm just meant to be with one. You know what I'm saying? And this is what I want to say too, also to Bow Wow, because when we encounter men like this as women, it's not for us to judge, it's not for us to criticize, it's not for us to disrespect him, it's not for us to call him out. Like, we shouldn't have to do all of that. You just have to realize that, hey, he's just not the one for me, because we're just on different levels, we on different stages when it comes to life. We're not on the same page. We're not in agreement on a lot of things, and no strings attached, and just be able to just, with no hard feelings, just leave it where it's at and just say, hey, you know, it just didn't work out between us. We had two different perspectives. We were just on two different paths in life, and it just wasn't going to work out. But what I wanted to say also too about Bow Wow is that he can speak for himself, and he can also speak for a lot of men, because he's not the only man who thinks like that. He's not the only man that believes that. There's a lot of men that's like, I'm not. There's plenty of women for me. It's not just me being with that one woman. I still want to have a lot of women. So he's not the only man that believes that or feels that way. But he cannot speak for every man, because not every man is on that. You know, you may have a man that's like, hold up, you know, I have a different story. You know, I've been with the same woman for the past 10 years and I'm married, and she's more than enough for me. You know what I'm saying? Like, she's more than enough for me, and each and every day I find myself falling more and more and more in love with her, and the same for her when it comes to me. You know, so there's a man that's able to step up and say, hey, you know, you don't have to just have a whole lot of women. Like, a man, it is possible for a man to just be with one woman and actually be faithful and committed to her. So when we encounter men who are not ready, the best thing for us to do is not try to change him, not try to convince him that you're a good woman and that you're the right one for him and that you're a different type of woman. And no, it's none of that. It's you realizing that, hey, he's just not for me, and being able to not get so attached and not get so quickly attached. Sometimes we fall, not only do we fall so quick, sometimes we fall so hard when it comes to encountering a man and just meeting a man and going out on a date with a man and dating a man. And sometimes we just we're falling too soon, and not only that, we're just falling really hard. And then when we find out that he's just not the right one for you, that's when we become hurt, and that's when we become so down in our spirit is because what's happening is a lot of us women are placing this man or this idea of a relationship on such a high pedestal, and we're having such high expectations for this thing that when it doesn't work out or when it fails, we're down in our spirit, and we're feeling bad, and we're feeling hopeless, and we're feeling discouraged. But if we learn to just balance that, and that's why it's so important to have balance, if we learn to balance that and maintain that, and find a way to control our emotions, I think that's the one that we really need to work on, that controlling our emotions. Then we'll be okay. And I think also, ladies, it's important for us to know what we want. Set boundaries, place yourself at a higher standard, and create balance. Know what you want. Know what you deserve. If you don't know what you want, and if you don't know what you deserve, then you'll be falling for anything. You'll be falling for anything. You'll be falling for the bare minimum. Like, he really doesn't have to do a whole lot, but yet you're so wrapped up into him. You're so into him. You've fallen so quick and so hard for him. And get this, sometimes we're falling like this for men and they haven't even done anything. It's just that, just having a few phone conversations over the phone, we're falling so hard. Just going out on 1 or 2 dates, we're falling so hard. And we have to be able to create balance. We have to be able to know what we want we have to know what we want. And knowing what you want and knowing what you deserve, it all goes back to knowing who you are, setting boundaries and placing yourself at a higher standard, and saying that I'm not going to allow my emotions to just keep leading me and keep running me and keep just getting me going and going and going. And then next thing you know, this man is just not the one. He's just not on the same level as me. He just does not, he's just not the one for me. You know what I'm saying? I'm just choosing not to open up my life to receive whatever he got going on in his life. And that's what we really have to work on, ladies, is being able to know when he's not the one, realizing that we cannot change him. Okay, who he is, what he has, and what he comes with, that's who he is. What he has and what he comes with, that's who he is. It's not our place to try to waste, because you're wasting your time. We're wasting our time when we think that we can change a man. I'm here to let you know I can't even change myself. It's the Holy Spirit that keeps me intact on a daily basis. If I need God to keep me together and keep me intact, and not only keep me together and keep me intact, I have to submit myself to God. I have to go after God. As believers, we have to go after God. We have to humble ourselves. The Bible tells us to seek God's strength and to seek his presence daily. Like, we have to go after God in order for God to just keep us. Yes, he is a gracious and merciful God, but God will do it sometimes even when we don't have to, but yet he still expects us to go after him and to submit ourselves to him on a daily basis. And if I need God to keep me, because I know that if I'm outside of God's will, I know how messed up I will be. I know I will be so out of my mind, out of hand, out of control, everything, if I decide to get outside God's will. But I know that I need him to keep me, and he's keeping me. And if I know that I need God to keep me intact and keep me in order, in other words, I cannot even change myself. I cannot think, and I have to actually get into this type of mindset. I have not always had this type of mindset, understanding that if I need God to help to change me, then I don't have any power to change anyone else when I can't even change myself, and I need the Holy Spirit to do that in my life. But there was a time in my life where I stayed with a man for years because I wanted him to change. And when I did not see him changing, I would get so upset with myself. I would beat myself up and beat myself down, and I would become so just frustrated, because it was like, I want him to change, and I'm doing this and I'm doing that for him, and he's still not changing. And I had that in my mindset, like I just didn't understand that everything that I did for him, all the good that I did for him, that he still was not changing. He was still remaining the same. Like we were together for years and he never changed. He stayed the same. And I was like, wow. And sooner or later, I had to actually get it in my mindset that I couldn't change him. I couldn't do it. And that's when I came to this place like, God, if I need you to help me become better on a daily basis, I can't even do that for myself. I don't have the power to do that for somebody else. And besides, God created us with a free will. Don't you know that even as believers, and even as just being people, period, whether you are a believer or not, that you and I have to make choices on a daily basis. But as a believer, it's like, God, help us to keep choosing you, but all of us, whether you are saved or not, have choices, and we be presented with whether you want to either choose this or choose that. So we all have to make choices on a daily basis. I know I kind of got off track there on my video talking about God and everything, but I'm just here to just say this. It's like when you know him, and when you know who he is, and when you have him in your life, it's like you just can't help but talk about him. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't help but talk about God. You know what I'm saying? Because I know that I can't even change myself. So I'm not going to be working, and I had to learn this. I'm not going to be working anymore trying to think that I can change a man. God can do that, but we have to come to him. Come to him. Jesus says, come to me, those who are burdened down, those who are weighed down, and I will give you rest. But Jesus says, come to me, and he created us just to have a free will. So you can choose to live your life the way you want to live your life, or you can choose to live the life that God has predestined and God had created and formed and ordained you to live through our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. So I can't change him. I can't even change myself. So I'm not going to waste time trying to change a man. And this is what I also want to say, ladies, too. When you know what you want, when you know what you need, when you know what you deserve, if he does not come equipped with that, then he's not the one for you. If he doesn't already come equipped with what you know you need, with what you know that you desire, and you know what you deserve, if he doesn't come equipped with that, then you know that he's not the one for you. And we have to be able to say, okay, I'm not going to touch that. I'm not going to mess with that. I'm not going to deal with that. I'm not going to insert myself. I'm just going to separate myself, or in other words, just go in another direction. Like, that's not for me. That's not what I need in my life. He's not ready. And that's how we have to leave it. Like, no strings attached, no hard feelings. But this is also what I want to say too. Sometimes when I was talking about having such high hopes and high expectations for a relationship, a lot of times it's like, when things don't work out, it's like, oh my goodness, I wanted him to be the one. Like, why couldn't he be that one that had his stuff together? Why he couldn't be that one that I settle down with and be with and get married to and all of that. And that just goes back to just having such high, just placing that thing on such a high pedestal, when that's not what it is at all. It's just, we have to make sure that we're getting ourselves together, we're setting we're creating boundaries, that we are drawing the line, that we are creating balance, and that we're not just getting ourselves all wrapped up and falling too hard and too fast for a man, and then when we realize that he's just not ready for what you're ready for, and he just does not desire what you desire, we have to be able to just say, okay, I have to leave this alone and walk away, because entertaining it or occupying yourself with it, you're just wasting your time. You're wasting precious time. And this is what someone said to me. Actually, this is what my niece said to me when I was in the relationship with my kids' father. She was like, all that time you're with him and waiting on him, you could have been occupied with someone who was actually for you. And that's so true, because when we're occupied with the wrong thing, then we are allowing that right thing to basically be held up, or even held back, because we're too busy being occupied with that which we know isn't right for us. Like, we can know it's something, ladies. This is what I want to say too before I close out this video. We can know a man isn't on your level. Like, you can know a man is not on your level. You can know that he's not ready. You can know that he does not know God, or he doesn't have God in his life. He's not God-fearing. He doesn't have a serious relationship with God. You know that the two of you are not compatible. The two of you are like night and day. Like, you can know all of this when it comes to a man, but yet you and I will still choose to entertain him. And when the reality of it is, that's how we get trapped, and that's how we get caught up, and that's how we get all tied up and wrapped up. And next thing you know, we have settled, and now we're in something, and now it's hard to just leave it alone and walk away, because now we're too invested. But when we realize at the very beginning, let me tell you something too, ladies. The more time that you spend with someone, okay, since we're talking about relationships, that goes with anybody. The more time you spend with someone, the more you start to get to know who they are. You start to pick up on who they are. You start to pick up on their spirit. The more conversations you have with this person, you're kind of able to kind of realize where their mindsets are at. So the more you spend time with him, the more you are picking up on who he is. You're starting to pick up on his spirit and pick up on who he is. The more conversations you have with him, you're starting to kind of understand where his mind is really at. Just through conversation and just being in the presence of somebody, you can actually learn a lot about them. And if you're starting to kind of have that bad vibe, because you're starting to pick up on things that isn't what you would like to invite into your life, that is the good opportunity, right? And that gives you the best opportunity, and even the better reason or greater reason for you not to entertain that, when you realize, okay, the words that are coming out of his mouth, his behavior, some of the things that he's doing, you're starting to pick up on that, and you're not having a good vibe. You know what I'm saying? Is it always like that? No. Let me tell you this too, ladies. Don't you know that you can actually go out on a date with a guy who treats you so good, treats you so well, he pays for everything, he's not trying to ask you for anything after the date, and the two of you actually had great conversation, he took you to a great restaurant, the food was great, and the two of you just seem to have a good time in each other's presence. That's possible. That's possible for that to happen. But it's also possible for that to mean that it's not meant for the two of you to go any further than just that date. Like, just because we went out on a date and we had a good time and we enjoy one another's company doesn't mean that does not mean that I'm for you, you're for me, we need to get into a relationship, we need to get married. That's not what that means. It could just mean that you just enjoyed yourself in the presence of people. And sometimes we also have to realize when it's just not meant to go any further. Like, this is not meant to go any further. In other words, I just need to leave this exactly where it's at, and that's it. Don't try to poke at it. Don't try to pry with it. None of that. Don't try to make something happen in your own self or in your own way. Sometimes that's all it was two people out on a date and just enjoying each other's presence and having good conversation. And that's also too, ladies, when we have to, that's another thing too that we have to realize. Is this all it was? Just that's all. So I just wanted to get on here and just talk about that. When he's not ready, when you realize that he's not ready for what you are ready for, that he does not desire what you desire, we have to be able to leave it where it's at. Just leave it alone and move forward, and just move forward, and just say we just weren't on the same page. We just did not want the same things. He wasn't ready for what I was ready for, and I just chose to make a wise decision and a great choice to just leave it alone and just move on. So I hope you like this video. I hope that it really speaks volumes to you. I hope that you really learn from this, and also just all the content that I will continue to put out about relationships and things that it's given to me. I just give it back to you. So thank you so much. Bye.